Hello world, are you ready to learn how to create and print a Pokemon trading card game deck list to be used in a Pokemon tournament? Well, it's simple. Go to pokegym.net. The top of the screen has a link to tournament deck lists. That'll take you to a part of the website that contains a program that allows you to make these lists. Now, blank deck is to create one from scratch, but let's click on sample decks. That's where you have all of the theme decks already listed. So if you're a beginner, chances are you're using a theme deck. Well, guess what? The list is already made for you. Use the scroll buttons to go left and right and find the list that you actually own. Notice here, there's a list from Call of Legends. There's one from Majestic Dawn. Okay, let's back up a second and make sure you got it straight. You go to the page, click on Sample Decks. That takes you to a book that's already been made that's full of all of the theme decks. Scroll left and right, find your theme deck. I'm going to choose Mamoswine's theme deck from the Triumphant set. I'm going to choose the event, Pokemon event, type in a name. I'm going to type in my Pokemon ID, that's not my real one, but you'll use your real one. And then I'm going to type in a birthday. And if you want, you can even go a little further and change the picture. You don't have to have a Pokemon that matches your list. See that? Now I'm going to start changing around some cards. I'm going to get rid of interviewer's questions by clicking on it and clicking delete. That gets rid of the interviewer's question supporter card. And then I'm going to insert a row and I'm going to add some rescue energy. And notice it continues to count how many cards I have, so I don't have to pay attention to how many cards I have. It's adding it up for me. I'm going to insert a row, and I'm going to add, notice as soon as I start typing Professor, a whole bunch of cards show up, and I get to click on the card that I actually do want. So you don't have to type in the entire name. I'm going to change this from 2 black belts to 1 black belt. And it's keeping track of how many cards are in my deck. I think I'm going to get rid of Weeping Bell and Bellsprout. Click on those and hit delete. They are gone. And I'll go down and choose to add another energy. I'm going to put double colorless there. Hopefully you've been attending a Pokemon League, and those were given out at Pokemon League. It's a very important card. Let's see. I'm going to insert another row. And you got to have a copycat. Number 1, it's a league card. Number 2, it's just a great card to get you some new stuff when your hand is dead. I'm going to change the name of this deck now that I've customized it. I'm going to change the name to my deck. Okay, now there's a couple of things you need to understand about Pokemon. If you have 2 Pokemon with the same name, but they're not from the same set, you have to list them separately. Here I have one Yanmega and another Yanmega, but I have 1 copy of each one. So I need to insert a row and make sure I have both of the Yanmegas listed as separate cards. When it comes to the Pokemon cards, they all have specific set numbers and set symbols. So you have to make sure, if you mean 98, you list 98. If you mean Yanmega number 54, you list Yanmega number 54. Okay? And that's the rule. Also make sure your Pokemon are playable, that they are from a set that actually isn't too old. That's the rule for Pokemon, but the rule for trainers, supporters, and energies are a little different. First of all, let's deal with supporter cards. Let's pretend we have 4 copies of Copycat, but they're all from different sets. So you put 2 from the Delta set, and then you decide to list your other copy of Copycat, and it's from a different set. And then you have, let's say, Call of Legends, and your last Copycat is from Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So you've decided to try to be good and list all of them individually. Then you go down to your energies and say, well, I've got these special energy cards called double colorless, and 2 of them are from Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So they have that little orange and blue symbol on them, and it says that number at the bottom of the card, so I know that's from that set. So then you decide to list that one. Well, when you're dealing with special energy and supporter and trainers, you only list how many you have. You do not list them separate, even if they're from different sets, because they've been reprinted. So all of the older versions are fine in your deck. And it's all the same card. Now I'm going to change that to 4 copycats and get rid of the extra stuff. And I'm going to change that to 4 double colorless energy and get rid of the extra stuff. And that's how you make sure you list trainers, supporters, and special energy cards. Now the big yellow box down at the bottom says 66. That's too many cards. So I'm shaving cards off of my list to make sure it gets down to 60. As I add and subtract cards, it auto totals it. It counts it for me. So I keep adding and subtracting cards until it gets to 60, and I know my deck list is good to go. Okay, now that you have this deck list straight, we're going to save the entire book to your computer. Go to the top, click File, and Save. Then this big box will show up. Hit OK. It's going to be OK. Hit OK, and then you'll have this scary looking code pop up. Now right there are the instructions on how to save it, but I'm going to tell you how to do it anyway, okay? Select All. I usually just right click and I choose Select All. It's faster. Then I right click and choose Copy. That's going to copy all that code. Next, we need to paste it into Notepad. So open up Notepad, not Word, but actual little simple Notepad. That way the code will not be changed. Paste it to Notepad and save as. It's important we do not save this as a text file. You need to save this as an HTML. So click on Text Documents and click All Files. And you need to give it a name and make sure you add that HTML extension at the end. So whatever the name you want to give it, HTML, save it. You've just saved your book. Later on, you can go to my computer and click on that file, and that whole book will open up in your browser. I'm going to close all that, print. File, print. Now this is very simple, because as soon as you click print, your printer is going to show up, or your list of printers, depending on how many you have. So you can print it to any printer you want. You can print it to PDF. You know how to print documents, right? Well, that's all you're doing here. Now, let's show you something really cool. We're going to go to View. At the top, click View and click Cards. We're going to view the cards as if you spread them out on the table. It's a cool little option. I barely use it, but it's cool. Notice, this is your deck, how it would look if you laid it out on the table. You can change the views by hitting Options, and you can view them side by side, diagonal, horizontal, whatever. Isn't that cool? Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope this really helps you create and print and save deck lists. Thank you for listening and watching.